You are about to listen to another episode of That Sports Guys podcast, hosted by Craig Forrestall. Find Craig on Twitter at that_sports_guy. The That Sports Guy podcast is proudly featured by NFL Draft Diamonds, your draft coverage king. So sit back, relax, and enjoy some football talk.
Hello and welcome to another episode of That Sports Guys podcast. I am Craig Forrestall. You might know me from Twitter as at that_sports_guy. And joining us today is former Georgia Southern linebacker Rashad Byrd. Rashad, what's going on with you?
Not much, my man. Just training, keeping my body up before the draft, really. I'm excited for the future.
Yeah, and I'll let you know a little bit about my training routine. My son had me and my wife going on with some Nerf gun wars early on this morning, so that's how I was getting my cardio in. But Rashad, first things first, everyone's story has a starting place, and you're no different. You grew up in North Augusta, South Carolina. Go ahead and let us know. What's it like growing up in North Augusta?
It's a small town, man. Everybody pretty much knows each other. It's kind of like Statesboro, Georgia here, and Georgia Southern. I feel like, it was home for me here, especially since I grew up in a kind of a smaller town. And it was kind of cool because we had the Masters, the big golf tournament, and that would be the biggest attraction that we would get. And honestly, it's amazing to see how similar these two cities are. But I grew up in North Augusta, small town. It was amazing. And, I wouldn't change it for the world, to be honest.
And then when I was doing my research, I saw that you had a serious baseball background. Rashad, what were all the different sports you played as a kid? And then go ahead and tell us, how good of a baseball player were you?
Yeah, so I played pretty much every sport you can name. In high school, I played 3 sports. I played football, basketball, and baseball. I stopped basketball after my sophomore year, and I played baseball and football all the way up till I left. And I actually, I was going to get drafted for baseball coming out of high school, so that was kind of exciting. I wasn't planning on playing college football at all, and I ended up hurting my shoulder, so I couldn't go. And then luckily I had the opportunity to come to Southern to play. And I actually played baseball here at Southern for the school team as well. I was on the team for 1 year, medically redshirted in the second year. It was kind of like half a year because of my body and doing so much, but it was definitely baseball is definitely one of my favorite sports.
And now back in high school, you played with another D1 football player in Victor Johnson. He went on to play at Appalachian State. Can you go ahead and talk about your high school football team and the success you guys all had?
Oh, yeah. We went to playoffs every year. We never missed a year of going to the playoffs. We were always a competitive team. We played against Mason Rudolph my sophomore year. And, it's some great, like I said, Dupree Hard is also a great kid that we play. We had Burns in there, Dutch Fork, who's tearing it up in the country right now. So it was a very competitive conference without a doubt. And, Victor's a great guy, awesome player. I also played with Parker Collins, who also played at App State and got the chance to play in the next level for a little bit as well. And, I come from a program where, we get out the mud. We have a concrete track that we run on that's black, the sun's beaming down on it. We had our parking lot was like grass, and that's what we used to practice at. So it's pretty much like a hard-nosed type of program. Now they're all fancy, and they got these new weight rooms and everything, and turf and everything like that, jumbotron. But it's really a hard-working place for sure.
And now let's talk about what the recruiting process was like for you in high school.
Oh yeah, so the recruiting process was very good. I know I was very undersized as a linebacker. I was coming out as 195. I was also didn't know what position I was going to play. I could play offense or defense. I got to the point where I was tired of getting hit and rather hit people. So I switch up to linebacker for sure, and that played a role into my decision as well. But recruiting was great. A lot of teams wanted me to be bigger. That was more the P5 team saying you need to gain some more weight before we can, officially give you the offer. But Georgia Southern's always been there to give me the opportunity and let me know that they wanted me. And, I'm very grateful to any team that's going to take me and they're going to get everything that I got.
And then you went on to have a stellar career at Georgia Southern as a multi-year starter with 3 All-Sun Belt selections as a linebacker. Can you talk about what playing at Georgia Southern has meant to you and how the football program's culture has impacted you?
It's a blessing, man. I'm telling you, anybody who gets to go to Georgia Southern or get a taste of the tradition or the taste of the feel that you get there, it's unbelievable. It's unmatched. I'm telling you, like we have a bus ride before our games. We run by frat row. There's over 200, fraternity guys out there with champagne bottles, beers, spraying our yellow school buses before the game, yelling. It's crazy. It's honestly one of the best feels ever. I don't think there's, I know everybody talks about brotherhood at their own place, but when I talk to guys that transfer from other schools and come here and I hear them talk about it, like that's how you know when it's real. Like the culture and how we act with each other is truly something that you can't get everywhere.
And now you've played some of your best ball on the biggest of stages. You had an interception when you played Trevor Lawrence in Clemson back in 2018, and then you had 16 tackles against Joe Burrow and LSU. Can you talk about those big stage games and what brings out the best in you?
Oh yeah. A lot of those teams, they just think it's a money game. It's a money game for me as well. That's what scouts go to look at whenever they see, especially a G5 guy. Can he compete with big talent? I know that was one of the biggest things that I felt like a lot of people just look down on, especially Sun Belt teams, especially Conference USA, who is in the G5, conference and everything like that. I just feel like everybody thinks that, we're kind of the whooping board of the little conferences. So, I feel like it was a great opportunity for me to go out and show like, hey, we can compete with y'all the same way, that y'all can compete with other teams. So it's those games are just like, it's not different, but it's different, if that makes sense. Like it's more something to prove than, a Sun Belt game where, yes, we have something to prove, but, it's kind of like they understand who we are. It's kind of like they were disrespecting us and you have to gain that respect back.
And now let's go ahead and talk about Trevor Lawrence and Joe Burrow. What was it like playing against them? And if you could talk about some of the things that they did that left you thinking like, man, these dudes are different.
Joe Burrow is, after playing both of them, Joe Burrow is just a just a dog. That's the easy way to put it, man. He's a field, he's a general. He's going out there switching everything up, especially with their new offense they had. He's commanding their offense, putting balls on the money. It looks like he was almost perfect throughout the season. If you really watch it, it was just crazy to see how the scheme just ended up so easy for him. And he's just a heck of a player, man. That's the easy way to put it. And Trevor Lawrence, man, he's crazy athletic, long guy who's pretty fast that you wouldn't think was that fast. And especially him as I think he was a freshman when he played against us coming in, was doing really well. He also showed a lot of poise and a lot of matureness when we were playing. So.
And you also had the opportunity to participate in the College Gridiron Showcase. Can you recap your overall experience at the event?
It was great, man. You got to talk to scouts. They would call you in, and you would get to go and talk to them. And it also just gave me the opportunity to learn a lot about the NFL that I didn't know, whether it was agents, whether it was how much money you would get, injury clause, and, so much information that nobody pretty much tells you at all unless you get there and have to figure it out yourself. And getting the opportunity to do those combine drills, it definitely, was a huge piece because we didn't have the combine this year at all. So just having those in my arsenal and having that video to share with scouts, showing them that I can do this and I can do that, it definitely helps and makes it easier for me to go and market myself to other teams.
And now, how have you been training for your pro day event and NFL opportunity?
So I was down there Better Every Day in Orlando. it was great. I got to work out with Brett Hagee, who was a center in Florida, who just had their pro day yesterday. And I also got to have some experience from some NFL guys like Ian Thomas, Darius Smith, and David Sharp, and others, Jaquez Patrick. And, it was great to have those guys around because they truly show you how to work. And those guys have already been there, played in the league for a while. So having those people for guidance and just being there and working with, they aren't all serious all the time, but they know when it's time to go to work, it's time to go to work. It's time to, get money. So, it was very cool to see them flip that switch and, go and get it.
And now, speaking of your pro day, can you take us through your mindset for the event? And did you accomplish everything that you wanted to in the workout?
Yeah, man. So, I have a tattoo on me. It's called AO1, and it means audience of one. That means basically I don't find my identity in my sport. I can kind of play freely and play with God. So I carry that with me everywhere I go. Whether it's, a job, whether it's school, whether it's football, I know if I put in the work and I've done everything I'm supposed to do, God's going to put me in the right position. And, at the end of the day, everything's going to disappoint me, whether it's football, whether it's family, whether it's life, but God's never going to disappoint me. So I was really going into the mindset of, hey, I'm gonna play freely. I'm gonna do whatever I need to do, and the Lord's will is gonna be the Lord's will. So, I was pretty happy with my performance, knowing that, hey, like maybe I didn't put up the best numbers, maybe I did, but at the same time, not everybody gets this opportunity. Not everybody, gets to have a pro day. Not everybody gets to have a chance to be picked up or drafted. So, it was pretty much a blessing for me to be able to do that. So that was kind of the mindset that I had going into it.
And you've had an extremely productive career, like we mentioned, but let's hear what you have to say about yourself. Can you give us a self-scouting report?
Yeah. I feel like I'm a big IQ guy. I think any game that you watch, I pretty much know what play is coming. I feel like it's a testament to a linebacker to definitely have the leadership. I was a 2-time captain for my team. Because if you can't command your defense as a linebacker, you're the quarterback. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're making all the checks, you're communicating with the front end while communicating with the back end. You got to make the checks if something happens. Like, it's so much going on, and being able to have the IQ of knowing, what the check is, what this play still might be being able to communicate it. I feel like that's, a skill that's very hard to acquire. I definitely feel like I struggle at keeping my feet up under me. A lot of times I tend to get wide with my feet, which can cause me to be slow or lose my footing a lot of times. I feel like I have a lot of power. I strike really well. Had almost 2-3 targeting calls in college, so that's always fun. But I feel like I'm a player that's going to go and get it, regardless of the size. I know size matters for a lot of people in the NFL, but, I'm about the same size as Devin White, who's 6 foot, 237. He's a totally different athlete, of course, but still, they tend to shy away from the smaller guys, but I feel like, that also, gives us a chip on our shoulder as well.
And now, what can you contribute to an NFL team from day one in the position room and on the field?
For sure, I can contribute just being a leader. Being a leader doesn't always mean, being the top in your room. Being a leader means making sure you're doing everything right, checking on your teammates, going out and giving it your best, because everybody has a role. I feel like I can definitely compete on special teams. I can go and, go and make some plays. I played at every special team in college except for PAT. So, definitely being able to come in and contribute on those, that's definitely going to help me so much, just because, nobody really pretty much comes in and starts right away, especially, lower in the draft type guys. So just being able to contribute in any way and being able to be a leader and a positive guy around the facility, I think would, be my role, I guess you could say, or what I can do.
And now the NFL has become a league of schemes, specialization, and systems. Do you feel that you fit a certain role or a certain scheme best in the league?
I feel like any scheme, whether it's a 4-3-3-4, I'm the type of linebacker that likes to run sideline to sideline, like to hit, I can also help him run support, and I can help him pass situations as well. I know the 4-3, you can pretty much run left and right with your linebackers, and kind of the same thing with the 3-4. And I'm just the type of guy, who's I can fit whatever scheme the coach needs me to. I can come play down here if you need me to. I can run left and right. I can do whatever they need me to do. I feel like that's one of my biggest assets that I can bring to the table as well.
And now, what are your short-term and long-term football goals?
So my short-term goal for when I first get there, I actually want to learn everybody's name in the facility so I can call everybody by their first name. That's going to be my short-term goal because, relationships are a lifetime. Football always stops, eventually. But having those relationships and being able to impact somebody's lives, personally, is definitely a big thing for me because I know how I felt when somebody cared about me, and I just want, to share that love with others. And as a long-term goal, I really just want to be able to impact, my teammates, my coaches, and be able to be that positive person for someone to come to, and also just to win a championship. I won bowl games. That's about it. I never won a state championship, conference championship, or anything like that. So definitely getting me a ring on the biggest stage will also be great too.
And now we've seen over the years, athletes will watch the draft with their friends, family, or do other things to enjoy the moment. How do you plan on watching the draft, Rashad?
I'm probably going to be at home with my family. My nieces, they're 11 and 5 or 6. They're growing up so fast, but probably with them. They've been with me the whole time during this process. They've been with me when I hurt my shoulder and couldn't play baseball anymore. So those are the people I pretty much want to celebrate and have a good time with. My brother, who will also be there as well. He actually got picked up for a free agent deal 12 years ago. So, it's kind of cool to kind of relive what he was doing. And he's most likely going to be there as well. So it's going to be fun.
And now we spent a good amount of time getting to know you on the field. But Rashad, I got a couple of questions away from the game if you're ready to take those on.
Most definitely.
All right. First one that I have set up for you. You just found a time machine, and you can either go back 2,500 years ago and be king of a large country, or fast forward 1,500 years and live on a different planet. What's your choice?
Mm-hmm. I think I'm going to go in, especially 1,500 years. Goodness gracious. Yeah, I would go back in time with the knowledge that I know now. And I would definitely make an impact on the people who are there. And I would, just try to better the life of people and better everyone. It might take a while, especially back then, everybody was pretty much fighting for land and everything like that. But I think I would do that just to have that impact and show people like love is the way to stop everything.
What's a song you're embarrassed to admit you like?
Song I'm embarrassed like. I like "Work From Home" by Fifth Harmony. It's in my pregame playlist for games. So.
What's your favorite comfort food?
Ooh, favorite comfort food. I'd probably say chips. I'm gonna say probably blue Doritos. Like it's something about them, especially when you get the one with a lot of seasoning on it. It's different.
What was the most interesting or memorable college class that you took?
I would say statistics because I absolutely learned nothing in the class, and nobody else in the class learned anything at all. And we all basically did not make good grades, to say the least. And he passed all of us. And we were just keeping up with each other. Like, did anybody do good? And they were like, nah, like, we all have an F in the class. And so, like, our report cards came out, and we all had, like, B's, A, B's, and C's. And I had a B in the class. So I was like, I'll take it. Like, I don't know what happened, but hey. So, yeah, the most interesting one.
And now, final question that I had for you, Rashad. Would you rather live in a beachfront mansion or have a bunch of land and build your dream house?
A bunch of land to build my dream house. I like being in the country. Man, I like to have a lot, I have a lot of land. I'm a country boy. I'll have some horses out there. Have a good time. Have my back porch facing the sunset. I'll live it up, man. It'll be my own little safe haven. But I love the water, but there's just something about a lot of land, some animals and nature that just gets me every time.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is former Georgia Southern linebacker Rashad Byrd. Like he said, he's had a wild ride to this point, but what he's going to do now is enjoy the moment with his family over draft weekend. He's looking forward to going into an NFL team, making sure that he makes the biggest impact that he can, not only on the field, but also within the organization by spreading that love and care that he's always done. Ladies and gentlemen, that is former Georgia Southern linebacker Rashad Byrd. I'm Craig Forrestall. Until next time, stay safe and be easy.
Hey everybody, Craig Forrestall. Thanks for tuning in and listening to another episode of That Sports Guys podcast. Make sure to follow me on Twitter at @that_sports_guy to catch all the latest updates and podcast episodes. Until next time, stay safe and be easy.